So continuing on with tradition, we have to kind of mention one more time the fact that one of the best iPhones ever made is now actually gone. Now, I think Apple makes a best iPhone or one of the best iPhones probably every 2 to 3 years. I would consider some of the best iPhones ever made. Obviously, the first iPhone, the iPhone 4, probably the iPhone SE first generation. The iPhone 10 is on there, and probably the iPhone 13 Pro and the iPhone 11. I mean, we have to throw that in there too. The iPhone 10, one of the best and one of the most impactful iPhones of all time, is now pretty much gone. It's done getting software support, and I do think for Apple's first $1,000 phone, they kind of made a really weird precedent of this device. For someone who bought this phone in 2017, technically speaking, the iPhone 8, which is cheaper than this thing and came out earlier, got more iOS 11 updates than the iPhone 10, had a longer lifespan technically than the iPhone 10, and things like that I really just don't appreciate. Now, the iPhone 10 brought so much to the table. It brought that gesture-based design, no home button, and the first iPhone to bring an OLED display. Those things are still some of the most important aspects of a lot of phones that we have just in the marketplace, but also with the iPhones. The fact that Apple was able to go ahead and make this iPhone at that time back in 2017 really was one of the biggest things Apple did during that year. I mean, they had a couple other products that came out. I think the iMac Pro came out that year too, but it was amazing that Apple was able to make a product like that. And I still give Apple a lot of credit. I was so happy when they made a product like that. And that in and of itself is a very, very important thing to keep in mind. But now this iPhone is pretty much gone. iOS 17 has removed, capability and support for the iPhone 10. And I think that was a very weird thing that Apple kind of did. I feel like they should have probably gone through and continued supporting the iPhone 10. And I feel like with this iPhone getting support dropped on it, I feel like, again, that is kind of setting a weird precedent for some of these older iPhones that Apple is making that are so expensive. For a $1,000 iPhone 14 Pro, it's not really going to be getting, Apple's not going to be treating it much more differently than an iPhone 14 as far as we know. Also, if Apple goes through and makes some sort of, more than $1,000 $1099 phone, if they do end up making an $1199 or $1299 phone, are they going to give it a better experience or give us a better experience with that in terms of software and everything compared to the other generations that were maybe $1,000? So I am very curious to see what Apple's going to be doing here. I felt like Apple should have continued supporting this thing on iOS 17, especially considering that iOS 17 was such a small update. I feel like those types of things are just so weird to me, and I guess we're going to have to see what happens in the future here. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.